Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason and I'm your watch guy today. Today we're going to be featuring a new brand called Firefly. This is their first watch and it is called the Sand Tiger. This is a dive capable watch with 200 meters of water resistance, but it is built like a tank. Now the creator of these watches is a man after my own heart. He has a great interest in World War II. And he wanted to create this watch with the build quality of a tank, and I think he's succeeded here. These will be available on Kickstarter. And actually, I'm going to coincide this video with the Kickstarter campaign, so you guys can go and jump on that campaign right away and hopefully pick one of these up for yourself. I will link them in the description. Without further ado, let me turn this camera around and let's get into this review. So this is the packaging that the Firefly Sand Tiger comes in. I think it's really well packaged for the price of this watch, or the price point of this watch. It is a double leather feeling carry case. So you have one slot here for the watch itself, a little divider to keep them protected and apart from each other, and another slot here for the watches. Firefly have also provided me with a couple of straps, so we can have a look at this on a few NATO straps later on. And it looks like a little leather bronze buckle piece there too. I'll get onto that later. Really well packaged though, I'm quite impressed with that. Speaking of which, in full disclosure, I am not keeping this watch, it is going back. However, if the Kickstarter campaign is successful, they will be sending one to me in the colour of my choosing. Now that's not going to affect the review, and they have asked for a full, open and honest review, which is exactly what they'll get here. Now, when talking about this watch, it's become apparent that the creative designer of it is actually a little bit of a history geek like myself, especially World War II and military type of history. Very big fan of tanks, and that's what he's drawn inspiration from here. Now, it is quite subtle, but I will point the little subtleties out to you very soon. First of all, let's talk about the movement in the back of this. This one is packed with a Miyota 8215, which I think is a mistake. And they've actually rectified that for the production model. They are going to be using a Seiko NH38. Now you might be thinking that I've got my numbers wrong, but no, it is the 38. The NH38 is the no date variant of the NH35. So that's definitely a step up for me. This price point, I accept that they're not going to be using Swiss powered movements or anything like that, but an NH movement is definitely a better quality than a Miyota for me. I absolutely hate that 8000 series, hate the rotor noise and everything like that. It's just a bit outdated, so I think that's a very positive move from them. Now let me talk to you about the dimensions of this watch. It is 41 millimeters in diameter here to here. That isn't including these rather large crown guards. Lug to lug, it comes in at 50 millimeters, which is quite big. However, they are going to shorten this lug to lug to 48 millimeters. Again, another choice that I think is very positive from them. I think that's from some feedback that they've had, or from actually having experience with the watch in person. I think that's, again, a very positive move, and it will suit a lot more people. The lugs on this are 20 millimeters, and it comes in rather on the high side. It is a 14.6 millimeter watch, so you will not be wearing this as a dress watch, but it does have presence on wrist, and that brings me back to this tank inspiration that they've had for this design. It's a very well built, very robust casing. It may have the curves, but it does have that ruggedness also. I rather like the way that it sort of flows in with the bezel, the casing. Very large bezel, very oversized bezel, queen edge. Feels really good in movement. No bounce at all, which is nice to see. It is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. Obviously has a really nice dive indicator over this side. One real nice piece of quality is this insert. It's actually a sapphire insert, which goes really well with this dome piece of sapphire that we have sat across the dial of this watch. As I say, really well built. That's a little bit of a classier element to this watch, whereas the rest of it is very well built and very robust. I'd imagine this one would take a beating. Not that I'm going to beat it, but it'd definitely take a beating. The brushing on it is quite nice. It is fully brushed stainless steel 316L stainless steel casing. As you can see, lineal brushing on the side of the case, circular brushing to the lugs themselves. As I say, nice mixture of brushing here, and it's a good quality finish too. Over to this side we have the screw down crown. It is surrounded by some rather large and imposing crown guards. They will definitely do the job. Now, as I pull that out, this one isn't a hacking movement, however they will be upgrading to a hacking movement. Now, the crown on this one is very different. It's got 4 points, Firefly logo in the centre. I rather like their logo, I think it's well designed. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of this crown. However, I do appreciate that it is a very original design and it's very different to a lot of other designs that you will get. It's a bit hard to grip for me. We have drilled lugs for the ease of switching out the bands on this, which will come in handy a little bit later on. Another change that they are going to be making in production is that we are going to have a stainless steel bracelet on this. Again, a very positive move. I think that is going to aid them in selling a few of these pieces. Everyone likes to have a bracelet on their watch. As we move to the back of the casing, you can see there is a screw down case back. It has the information on the outer edge there. Now, altogether, this case provides the watch with 200 meters of water resistance, which is a dive standard water resistance rating. As I say, really well built, very robust, and I am quite impressed with the build quality on it. Let's talk about the dial on this watch. It is a very subtle and subdued sunburst effect on this flat black dial. Now, it does catch the light rather nicely. They do offer this in a couple of other colours. My personal favourite is this purple one. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've definitely made my feelings clear about which one I want if the campaign is successful, and it's definitely that one. I think it's absolutely beautiful in that colourway. Now, we have some very imposing indices on this one. It is a sandwich dial, so we have a lower layer of a Lume dial with a layer on top for the actual dial that you see, which gives a almost printed effect, but you can see a little 3D layer to it. On the minute track, we have standard batons. However, on the 5-minute or hour indices, we have these pointed, almost fang-like features. Now, I think that's very different, very original, and it sort of draws you into the center of the dial. Up at the 12, the 3, 6, and 9, we have numerals that are cut out of this dial. I'm a big fan of having numerals on your dial. I think that's a really good look personally, and I think they're done really well. This sort of font that's cut into the 6 is very nice. It's very functional too, obviously, because it'd be harder to just stick a circle into the center. The cutaway is much easier to do, I believe. Up at the 12 o'clock, we have the Firefly logo. I think that's a really nicely done logo. It's very original. And down at the 6 o'clock, we have Sand Tiger 20 ATM, which refers to the pressure rating of this watch itself, 200 meters equivalent. We have a very bold sword style handset on this one. It is surrounded in a stainless steel effect polished border and loomed in the center. As you can see, the minute hand reaches straight out to the edge of the dial, whilst the hour hand sits just short of the hour indexes. The second hand is ticking away very nicely in that green. In the finished production models, the second hand will be fully loomed. They didn't put it into the prototype. I think they just missed the memo, but that will be fully loomed in the actual production models. On the counter balance of the second hand, we have a F shape, which will obviously stand for Firefly. That's a very nice addition to this dial, or this handset even. Now, let's get on to the Lume shot. It's actually quite a nice little Lume shot on this one. One thing to bear in mind is that this is a prototype, and therefore we do expect it to get slightly better in production in terms of Lume. One thing that always seems to improve from prototype to production is the Lume in watches. Let me just turn out the lights and let's see what we've got. Here we go. You can see a blue Lume, or blue signature Lume, to this dial, and it's a busy Lume. It is very clear, And as you can see, we also have a slightly loomed bezel on the dive indicator and the 12, 3, 6 and 9 points. Very nice to see that. I think that is a really nice effect, and I think a lot of brands are putting in Lume bezels now for a really good reason. It's a piece of quality in your design. I think that Lume signature is absolutely brilliant, personally. Now as we finish up with the dial and casing, we move to the band. This will not be what you get with the actual production model. You will get a stainless steel band with it, but it is a nice indicator to see what type of different looks you can get with this watch. Let me just swap it onto another band so we can see how it looks with a fabric band. Before we move on to those NATOs, how good does it look on this maroon leather strap? Now, you see this bronze buckle, it does have the Firefly logo on there. They were going to offer this in two different options, the stainless steel and the bronze. The bronze has been pushed back for after this campaign now. It is still a plan to do them in a bronze casing, but it will be after these ones have been released and finished. So that's something to look forward to. I think it would look absolutely brilliant in a bronze. Nice green dial would be good too for that. This one again is a very premium feeling NATO. I need to find out where they got these from because I want one. Again, very nice look on this one, very clean and simple, yet almost field-esque type of look to it. It is a very versatile watch, as you can see. Now let me pop it on wrist on this NATO to show you how it looks on my 6.2 inch wrists. One thing to note is that you probably don't want to add too much more height to this watch. Pop my Zelos there. Very happy with our Zelos. Such a comfortable watch. The review for that will be out soon. Here we have it. So as you can see, even though it's a longer watch and very big watch to be fair, obviously not in diameter but in length, it is quite big, also in height, but it's very comfortable. I've worn it for a period of a week on and off, and yeah, I've actually really enjoyed it. It was versatile in work, it was versatile at home. It's just a very nice, solid watch. And on the website, the pre-orders were £259. Now that's subject to change for the Kickstarter campaign, and if it does, I will pop the price in here or somewhere around here for you to have a look at. Yeah, I think it's a really good option for some people because obviously it's a very different dial design. That sandwich dial is very nice, and also the different type of index or indice layout is also very nice too. It's very attractive. Now we do have a couple of moans to clear up with this watch. Obviously they have cleared up the myota for me. I hate that movement, and I'm so glad to hear that they're going to move on to NH movement. I think it's definitely the best move for them. Now, secondly, the size won't be for everyone. It's a very big watch, like tall. Lug to lug, it'll be perfect for a lot of people at 48, but in height, it is definitely in the dive watch type of parameters. So that is not going to be for everyone. Personally, I quite like it. Secondly, this crown is actually quite hard to grip hold of. It looks really nice and it's quite different. It's original, but it is hard to grip hold of, which isn't what you want in a crown, especially if you're trying to hand wind your watch. It's a little bit of an annoyance. Yeah, it's not the easiest to get hold of, unfortunately. But I do appreciate that they've tried to do something a little bit different here. In fact, throughout the watch, they're trying to do something a little bit different, from the indices to the numerals to the crown. It's well designed and it's original. It's not a homage to anything. It's their own proprietary design. And as I said in the beginning, it's built like a tank. It's a very sturdy watch. It's very bulky. It's very well built. And yeah, I think they've done a really good job for the price point. If it sticks around £260, I think that's a really good option for a lot of people. So that is your first introduction to Firefly watches, guys. I think this is really a passion project, and I think it's a really well built watch. It does a lot for the money that it's being offered at. I think it's a really well built watch. It is genuinely built like a tank. I think this could withstand a real good beating. Not that I think you should go and beat them. The specifications of it are going to be much better in production, also with that NH38 movement. So I think it could be a winner. I really do. I think you should definitely consider this if the dial is for you. As I say, those indices aren't going to be for everyone. However, I think they're quite nice and I think they're quite original. As I say, with those improvements, I think this one will definitely get over the line. And I'm really hoping that it will, because I want that purple dial. It's absolutely stunning. Everything that you will need to purchase this watch, back the campaign, look into Firefly a little bit more, is in the description, so please pop down there. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one.